The presidency is about power, leadership and decision-making. Yet even presidents have basic needs. Food is one of them. What lands on the president's plate offers a glimpse into their personality, background and even the era they governed. From simple meals to elaborate state dinners, presidential food choices tell a fascinating story about American history. Join me as we explore this delicious aspect of the presidency, uncovering the culinary habits and favorites of the men who've led our nation. Our founding fathers lived in a time of simplicity, marked by practicality and resourcefulness. Their diets were locally sourced and prepared with minimal ingredients, reflecting their agricultural lifestyle. George Washington favored hearty meals, shaped by his upbringing and estate's resources. He enjoyed fish from the Potomac River, reflecting self-sustaining practices. Hoe cakes, simple cornmeal pancakes, were a favorite, often served with honey or butter. John Adams preferred simple meals, reflecting his New England roots. He loved New England clam chowder, a staple in his diet. These presidents remind us that good food can be simple, prepared with care and enjoyed in good company. Their cooking methods were labor-intensive, ensuring every meal was a product of hard work. Much of their produce came from their own gardens, connecting them to the land. Meals were communal, bringing families and communities together, reinforcing bonds and creating memories. Recipes were passed down through generations, telling the story of the family's heritage and traditions. The marketplace was a hub of activity where ingredients were sourced, adding a social element to cooking and eating. The rural setting provided a variety of nutritious and delicious foods. Cooking over an open hearth added unique flavors requiring skill and patience. Their simple fare reflected their values of community, tradition, and appreciation for the land. Thomas Jefferson stands out as a culinary giant among presidents. He was a true gourmand. His time in France as an ambassador exposed him to a world of flavors. He brought back recipes and ideas that transformed American cuisine. Jefferson championed vegetables, fine wines, and innovative cooking techniques. He even introduced macaroni and cheese to the United States. His legacy as a foodie president remains unmatched. The diverse geography of the United States is reflected in its cuisine. This is certainly true of presidential food preferences. James Madison from Virginia loved his country ham and spoonbread. Andrew Jackson, a son of the South, favored down-home cooking like fried chicken and cornbread. These regional favorites offer a taste of the president's backgrounds. They show how upbringing influences even the most powerful individuals. Section 5. From the Frontier to the White House Table. The 1800s saw America expand westward. This expansion influenced the presidency and its food. Zachary Taylor, a hero of the Mexican-American War, enjoyed simple frontier fare like beef jerky and hardtack. Abraham Lincoln, known for his humility, preferred plain but hearty meals like chicken fricassee and cornbread. These presidents represent a time when America was finding its footing, and their food reflected this spirit of practicality. Section 6. Turn-of-the-century tastes. As the 19th century turned into the 20th, presidential tastes continued to evolve. The turn of the century was a time of significant change, not just in politics and society, but also in the culinary preferences of those who held the highest office in the land. Theodore Roosevelt, known for his boundless energy, was a famously enthusiastic eater. His robust personality was reflected in his love for hearty meals. Roosevelt's dining habits were a testament to his vigorous lifestyle and his belief in the importance of physical strength and endurance. He loved hearty meals like steak and potatoes. These meals were not just about sustenance, they were a reflection of his rugged, outdoorsy persona. Roosevelt's preference for such robust fare was well known and often became a topic of conversation among his contemporaries. Woodrow Wilson, on the other hand, suffered from digestive issues. Unlike Roosevelt, Wilson's approach to food was much more cautious and restrained. His health concerns dictated a more measured and careful diet. He adhered to a strict diet. This diet was meticulously planned to avoid any foods that might aggravate his condition. Wilson's meals were simple and unadorned. focusing on the essentials needed to maintain his health. It emphasized simply prepared vegetables and lean proteins. His diet was a stark contrast to Roosevelt's, highlighting the different ways these two leaders approached their meals and their health. These two presidents, so different in their approaches to food, highlight the increasing importance of health and personal preference in presidential diets. The contrasting dining habits of Roosevelt and Wilson underscore a broader trend of the era, the growing awareness of diet and health. This period marked the beginning of a more scientific approach to nutrition, which would continue to evolve throughout the 20th century. The personal preferences and health needs of these leaders not only influenced their own lives, but also reflected the changing attitudes towards food and health in American society at large. Section 7. The modern presidential palate. The 20th century saw significant changes in American society, including its food culture. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, known for his leadership during the Great Depression, had a surprisingly simple favorite: grilled cheese sandwiches. Dwight D. Eisenhower, a World War II hero, enjoyed cooking. He was known for his barbecued ribs. These presidents brought a more modern sensibility to the White House table, embracing both comfort food and personal passions. Section 8. Quirks and concoctions. Every president has their unique quirks, and food is no exception. Richard Nixon, a complex figure, had an unusual fondness for cottage cheese with ketchup. This odd combination became a symbol of his unconventional personality. These unusual preferences remind us that even the most powerful people have their idiosyncrasies, adding a touch of humor to the history books. Section 9. The fast food presidents. The rise of fast food in America coincided with the presidencies of Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Clinton, known for his love of McDonald's, brought a more relatable touch to the presidency. Trump, a businessman with a taste for the finer things, still indulged in fast food staples like McDonald's and KFC. These presidents reflect the changing landscape of American food culture, where convenience and accessibility have become increasingly important. Section 10. Biden's ice cream diplomacy. Joe Biden, our current president, is a man of simple pleasures. He is famously fond of ice cream. Whether it's chocolate, vanilla, or anything in between, Biden's love for this sweet treat is well documented. It's a reminder that even in the midst of political turmoil, a little bit of what you love can go a long way. Section 11. Food for thought, a reflection. From George Washington's hoe cakes, a simple yet hearty breakfast staple of the 18th century, to Joe Biden's ice cream, a treat that brings a smile to his face and a sense of nostalgia to many Americans, the culinary preferences of American presidents offer a fascinating lens through which to view history. These preferences are not just about food. They are about culture, tradition, and the personal tastes that reflect the times in which these leaders lived. These choices, often seemingly trivial, reveal much about the personalities, backgrounds, and times of the men who have occupied the Oval Office. For instance, Thomas Jefferson's love for French cuisine speaks to his time as an ambassador in France and his appreciation for European culture. Food, after all, is a universal language. It connects us all. Whether it's a state dinner or a family meal, the act of sharing food brings people together, fostering a sense of community and belonging. By understanding what our presidents ate, we gain a deeper appreciation for who they were as individuals and as leaders. Abraham Lincoln's preference for simple, hearty meals like apples and bacon reflects his humble beginnings and straightforward nature. Franklin D. Roosevelt's love for cocktails and elaborate meals during the Great Depression shows his desire to uplift the nation's spirits. Each dish, each meal, tells a story, offering a unique glimpse into the lives and times of America's leaders. Through their culinary choices, we can trace the evolution of American society from its colonial roots to its modern-day diversity.